All right, Shalom. I want to start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High God, Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushua, Bahashim, Kwadash. Double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops of the Great Millstone. I'm your brother, Rabbi Knapp, coming out with a lesson. Lord's will, this is edifying to the Lord's elect. It says, Russia strikes Kyiv ahead of U.S.-Ukraine peace talks. Let's see what this is about.
President Zelensky says another massive Russian bombardment hit his country overnight. Proof, he said, that the Kremlin is not serious about peace. The
Kremlin is not serious about peace. So this is Vladimir Zelensky saying that Vladimir Putin is not serious about peace. We already know he's not supposed to be serious about peace because we understand Ezekiel the 38th chapter. Okay, now the evil thought hasn't gotten to his head and to bomb the land of unwalled villages or to go into the land of unwalled villages, but it also still applies to prophecy because he's still going to war. Now, this was December 27th. It's still December 27th for the next 60 seconds.
Capital city Kyiv was struck repeatedly. This is one of the apartment blocks that was hit. We're told the attack involved nearly 5.
And look, that's an apartment complex. That's not dealing with key infrastructure. That's residential areas. That's civilians live in complexes. Okay, not military. That's not a military base. Okay, so that just goes to show you, like it says in Isaiah the 13th chapter, Isaiah 13 and 18, their bows also shall dash the young men to pieces, and they shall have no pity on the fruit of the womb. Their eyes shall not spare children. So that's fitting perfectly with his characteristics, the Medes. And this is saying Babylon will fall to the Medes. Babylon is America. The Medes are the Russians. So if he's doing that to his next door neighbor, what is he going to do to Babylon when it's time?
500 drones and 40 missiles, which were large.
40 missiles. And he got nuclear. He didn't hit. This isn't nuclear. This, what was coming over here is going to be nuclear.
Targeted at energy and civilian infrastructure. President Zelensky will join
energy and civilian infrastructure. Okay.
In a conference call later today with European leaders to discuss the ongoing negotiations. He is preparing to leave for Florida, where he'll meet with President Trump on Sunday.
He going to play golf this Sunday? Okay.
Ukrainians say 90% of the peace plan has been agreed, although in an interview
90% of the peace plan has been agreed. Let me see if I can find something on this peace plan he keep talking about. What is Vladimir Zelensky's peace plan he keeps talking about? Maybe someone can explain it. Can we get short videos, maybe? Fico also mentioned that the peace plan proposed by... Can someone explain this peace plan to me? What is in Trump? What is Vladimir Zelensky's peace plan he keeps talking about? Yeah, let's see what AI say. Vladimir Zelensky's current peace initiative is a revised U.S.-backed 20-point peace plan that evolved from his original 10-point peace formula. It aims for a comprehensive settlement based on international law and robust security guarantees, but key territorial issues remain unsolved. Why don't you summarize it down to 2-3 things, something simple? 20 sounds like a lot. So what if he agrees to 19 things and one's missing? Are you going to say, oh, we're going to continue? It doesn't look like it's going to lead to any form of peace. And if the duck is involved in it, you can lower your chances of getting peace in that area because they've never had any good foreign policy. Esau don't know how to deal with foreign policy. His foreign policy is to go to shoot you, bomb you, kill you. That's it. He can't talk, and he can't even open up a government when it comes to food stamps. You think he can go over there and negotiate with two countries who pretty much, then, you know, if you look at the history of Ukraine and Russia, they don't really like each other because they starved the Ukrainians. The Russians starved the Ukrainians. They got bad blood since then. They remember what they did to them. And he's going to bring his ass over there and try to bring peace over there. He can't do that. The only thing he could do is supply them with bullets, guns, drones, and things like that. Money. Key points of the 20-point plan. The plan, developed in cooperation with U.S. and European officials, covers a broad range of issues: sovereignty and non-aggression. All signatories, including Russia, must affirm Ukraine's state sovereignty and sign a full, unconditional non-aggression pact. So you want him to stop bombing you, but you want to be at his border threatening his sovereignty all the time. I wouldn't want to do that. What secures his sovereignty? Because that's clearly why he wants to bomb you. Security guarantees. Ukraine would receive robust, legally binding security guarantees from the U.S., NATO, and European nations that mirror NATO's Article 5 Collective Defense Clause. And if you don't know what Article 5 is, it's when if you bomb one country, you gotta fight with all of them. Military strength. So he wants to join NATO or in the EU. Okay, so that puts them right at his border. So I don't think this is just a waste of paper. Military strength. Ukraine would maintain a peacetime army of 800,000 troops, funded by Western partners, which is a key point as previous proposals suggested force reductions. Previous proposals, so I don't know how many, what was before, but 800 troops, those sounds like a pretty large military to me. Territorial integrity and demilitarization. This is the most complex point. The plan suggests freezing the current contact line and creating demilitarized zones, possibly as free economic zones, in the eastern Donetsk region. Any Ukrainian troop withdrawal must be reciprocal to Russia's withdrawal from an equivalent area. So he wants to demilitarize his zone. Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant. The plan seeks to demilitarize the area and has proposed a joint operating venture between Ukraine and the U.S., though this remains a sticking point. EU membership. The plan calls for a firm and specific date for Ukraine's entry into the European Union as a security guarantee. Reconstruction and economy. It envisions creating several funds to mobilize up to $800 billion for post-war recovery, with a Ukraine Development Fund to attract investment in high-growth sectors, including U.S. economic interests in energy and mineral extraction, humanitarian measures, justice and accountability, elections. Ukraine would hold elections as soon as possible after a peace deal is signed and martial law is lifted. I didn't know they were under martial law. Ukraine is under martial law? Yes, Ukraine is under martial law, a special legal regime imposed since February 24th, 2022, due to Russia's full-scale invasion, leading to restrictions like curfews and a ban on male citizens leaving the country, with extensions happening regularly, most recently until early 2026, preventing elections during this period. So I didn't know that. So they're under martial law. You can't leave the country. Key details. Introduction. Martial law began with President Zelensky's decree on February 24, 2022, following the Russian invasion, and was quickly approved by the legislature. Purpose: it grants the military leadership increased powers for defense, public security, and order, allowing for essential restrictions on rights and freedoms. So you got to stay in your house while they bomb your ass over there. Restrictions includes curfews, restrictions on military-aged men, traveling abroad, and a halt to elections. Military-aged men, so you can't even leave. Extensions. The law is extended in 90-day intervals by parliamentary vote, with the current extension set to last until February 3rd, 2026, as of late 2025. Impact. It enables Ukraine's defense efforts, but also suspends normal democratic processes like elections for the duration of the conflict. Shit. I can see the duck wanting to establish martial law before he gets out of to extend his presidency, if he's that wild to do it. I think he is. And if that's how Zelensky's in the position that he's in, because of everything that's going on over there, then look at how much money is going towards it, man. So martial law benefit, all this war shit benefits him. You know, if he was, not really for his people, and he was set up somehow. But in Duck's situation, Duck would continue to be able to keep you in check and still go do the things he was robbing and stealing somewhere else, because it's probably going to increase, especially now that he's now in Nigeria. And after, from what I saw yesterday, he going to be going into other countries too. I was looking for a video to do a lesson on, and there's warplanes already, just jet planes, all parked in Puerto Rico. So he ready to go with Venezuela, he ready to go with Nigeria, he ready to go in Syria. But Russia also got troops and all this, so things are moving. But you gotta look for, you gotta find it to see, so you don't get lost in the sauce. Esau got all this football and all this bullshit to keep you occupied in something that don't even matter. And this is the days he tries to make these decisions. These other countries do the same thing. All these countries do the same thing. While they occupying your minds on something that don't even matter, they're moving military and equipment, passing laws, under your nose while you're sleeping. And you ain't watching.
With Politico, the US president seemed to push back on that idea. He doesn't have anything, he said, until I approve it, which again underscores how tense the relationship is, and maybe explains why the Europeans are engaging with President Zelensky ahead of his visit. Our correspondent.
Okay. Because he's on his way to Mar-a-Lago, which is in Florida, and his shit's getting bombed up. So even Putin understands, let me tear that place up while he's gone. Make it worse politically. It's probably a political standpoint. You still searching for peace, which you don't have, and I'm bombing Kyiv, and that's way beyond where the front lines of the battle. That's way beyond there, and he's bombing that on his way while he's leaving. So the war's not even, he's fucking you up over there, and he's bombing mad far away from where the front lines are.
Samira Hussein is in Kyiv and gave us the latest.
Overnight, there were more than, and into this morning, in fact, the air raid sirens have been sounding off. There are still drones that are coming into Ukrainian airspace, and according to Ukrainian officials, there were some 500 drones that were launched from Russia over Ukraine, and some 20-odd missiles as well. The main target has been the capital here in Kyiv, and there has been some infrastructure damage there, and according to the Ukrainian military, there has been damage to some residential buildings here as well. And all of...
Hey, he gave you something to talk about when you go play golf. You're probably going to lose because Duck's been practicing a lot, so I wonder if he's going to win or not. I don't think they're going to... It's a waste of time. You could have had a conversation with him over the phone. You came over here for no reason. All those times he came over here, it was for no reason. Supposedly. I'm sure he done came up. Because Duck's about that money, man. I can only imagine your country being bombed like that. Like, what are you going to do? Because eventually, what can you do in this situation if you're a citizen in Ukraine? You can't vote him out because you're under martial law, so your rights pretty much were taken away from you. So you're in a tight position. You can't do shit. So that's how crazy it's gonna be, and that's what second address is 15th. These things are already happening in the world. People are already going through somewhat of the things that we're gonna go through in the future. If you see it and just put yourself in the shoes of other people, you can see what the hell are we gonna do when we come over here. And then during martial law, like, what are they doing when it comes to, if you got curfews and stuff, what about work? How does that work? Do you still go to work? Like, that's what I'm trying to figure out, but...
That is coming as there is this absolute flurry of diplomatic activity. In fact, we're hearing now that Reuters, in fact, is reporting that President Zelensky will hold a call with European allies, including the head of the European Union, Ursula von der Leyen. And it's all ahead of that conversation with President Trump in person on Sunday, where they're going to be discussing this 20-point peace plan. And as you rightly pointed out, Christian, President Zelensky has characterized it as being 90% there, only a small bit left to overcome.
Yeah, those comments in Politico that Donald Trump has given, though, again underscoring the degree to which really Ukraine's fate depends on the whims of the US president, who, again, in the interview, seems to lean more towards Russia.
Yeah, in the interview, he even said, I'm expecting to speak with President Putin very, very soon. And again, as you rightly pointed out, if you look at the difference between the kind of tone and the language that you're hearing from President Zelensky is very upbeat. But then when you listen to what the President of the United States had to say in this interview with Politico, he seemed to downplay it quite a bit. And it is forever this tightrope that Ukraine has been walking ever since that monumentous meeting between President Trump and President Zelensky in the White House at the beginning of this year. It's been very much a game of trying to keep the United States on side. So you hear a lot of positive language when it comes to the United States, particularly speaking about Donald Trump. And President Zelensky is certainly going to try and keep that kind of positive momentum as he goes to meet with the president in Florida tomorrow.
Yeah, because you got to kiss his ass, man. You got to kiss the ring. Yeah, you want this? Yeah, kiss my ass, man. That's what he likes. Eventually, he going to get tired of that shit, man. If he joins the European Union, he might be a part of this scripture here. Revelation 17:14. These shall make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them, for he is the Lord of lords and King of kings, and they that are with him are called and chosen and faithful. So the Lord and his angels who are going to come and destroy these heathen, they're going to try to fight up against the Lamb, and they're going to lose. And he saith unto me, the waters which thou sawest where the whore sitteth are peoples of multitudes and nations and tongues. And the whore sitteth is talking about here in America. Okay. The whore sits on NATO and the EU, which is America. Okay. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. So her is talking about the whore, which is America, and the 10 horns that are on the beast, which is NATO, is the EU. So they're gonna burn her with fire. So if he enters into NATO or the EU or whatever, he might be part of, I don't think he has any nuclear capability, but yeah, so maybe that don't really apply to him, because he don't have nuclear capability. Unless someone give him something to throw over here, I don't see him doing anything other than that. But these nations, this NATO and EU, they're gonna switch up on her, man. And it's only a matter of time. What's this? Knife attack in Japan, at least 15 injured at rubber factory. What the hell is this? This is the second stabbing, like, no, I think that one was in Korea. Saying nothing. Emergency crews responded to a rubber factory in Mishima, Japan, after reports of a stabbing attack that left multiple people injured. Local news agencies said at least 15 were hurt when a man attacked workers with a knife and sprayed an unspecified liquid at the Yokohama Rubber Company facility. Police arrested a 38-year-old suspect at the scene as ambulances and officers sailed off the factory. So little ass Ammonite got away with stabbing 15 people, as skinny and small as he is. He getting away doing a bunch of damage. If there's a will, there's a way. The Lord got spirits out here, man. And I can only imagine shit like this gonna ramp up, man. Especially over here. Alright, I don't hear any. Are they gonna say anything about this? Probably not. Who cares?
And correspondent Nada Bashir. We begin here with Russia
launches assault on Kyiv ahead of Trump-Zelensky meeting.
A large-scale attack.
I already said that. What's this? 7.0 magnitude earthquake strikes off Taiwan coast. Tremors felt in Tapai. Let me hear that.
Now, a strong 7.0 magnitude earthquake has hit about 32 kilometers off the coast of Yilan in northeastern Taiwan. The island's weather administration has said it marked the second significant tremor in 3 days. The tremor was felt in the capital of Taipei and occurred at a depth of 73 kilometers. Officials say assessments of potential damage were ongoing. The Taipei city government has stated there was no immediate reports of significant damage. Taiwan's fire department has said no tsunami alert was issued following the earthquake.
These niggas are always having earthquakes and tsunamis. It must be one of those places. Let me see something real quick. Why is Taiwan always having earthquakes?
According to Facebook, far from being an unexpected event, earthquakes are a constant reality for the island, because Taiwan sits directly on a major tectonic collision zone. Taiwan lies where the Philippine Sea Plate and the Eurasian Plate crash into one another, forming part of the infamous Pacific Ring of Fire.
Makes sense, man. I feel like they always in the news for. They just had one. Anyways, what's this about? Israel becomes first country to formally recognize Somaliland as independent state. What the hell is
And I
that
just want
about?
to take you out to another international story that we are following here at this hour. Take a look at your screen and this quote coming in from Netanyahu, the Prime Minister of Israel, who is expected to meet with President Trump there at Mar-a-Lago in Florida on Monday. We're hearing from Africa's regional governance bodies.
Damn, he got a big golf game this Monday. He got Zelensky and Netanyahu.
Today, they're rejecting the recognition of Somalia's breakaway region of Somaliland as
What's this breakaway region, man? What is that? What is going on with Somaliland? Why is it a breakaway region? Somaliland is a self-declared breakaway state in the Horn of Africa that separated from Somalia in 1991 during its civil war, seeking independence due to distinct history, former British colony and governance, but faces ongoing instability in its eastern parts and lack of international recognition, though Israel recently recognized it, prompting condemnation from Somalia and African bodies who uphold Somalia's sovereignty. So, who occupies Somaliland? Somaliland is a self-declared, and I just read that. Let's find. China slams Israeli plan to recognize Somaliland for Palestinian relocation. That's what's going on. Let me read this. Let me see if I can find some videos on that. Israel becomes first country. Yeah, I don't know. Something's going on over there, and it ain't explaining.
This ad won't make you quit vaping. But knowing you'll feel less anxious or stressed.
I'm the happiest person in the world today. The historic address on the recognition of the Republic of Somaliland. Excellencies, all world leaders, distinguished delegates, partners, also.
He's talking too damn slow. Stop. Just say what the hell you gotta say, man. Let me see what this says.
An independent nation by Israel one day earlier, the first by any country in more than 30 years. Somaliland declared independence from Somalia back in 1991, some decades ago, amid a descent into conflict, and despite having its own government and currency, had never been recognized by any nation in the world until Friday. The African Union chairperson said any attempt to undermine Somalia's sovereignty risks peace and stability on the continent. He said,
of course he wants to undermine Somalia's sovereignty. Now there's probably going to be a war over there too. There's probably gonna be a war over there, man. In Somaliland. Backed by not a Jew, man. Crazy. You gotta watch this shit.
Mission, quote, firmly rejects any initiative or action aimed at recognizing Somaliland as an independent entity, calling that it does remain an integral part
Why you gotta say anything about what they're doing over there?
of the Federal Republic of Somalia. Somalia's federal government on Friday strongly rejected what it described as an unlawful move by Israel to recognize Somaliland,
Unlawful rule by Israel.
reaffirming that the northern region remains an integral part of Somalia's sovereign territory, as I mentioned there. Now, this
So, of course they want to divide and conquer. Divide and conquer, man. It's the same old damn play. Tells you in the book of Ecclesiasticus, wherever there's some type of division, he's just always there. This nigga's always there, man. What's that? Ecclesiasticus? No, Ecclesiasticus 12, I believe. Ecclesiasticus 12 and why is this going backwards? It says, if adversity come upon thee, thou shalt find him there first, and though he pretend to help thee, yet shall he undermine thee. Let's look this up. Ecclesiasticus 12 verse 17. That's what he does, man. Ecclesiasticus 12 verse 17 means that worldly wisdom and foolishness ultimately lead to the same end, death and obscurity, making earthly pursuits seem vain. Where are you getting that? It's giving me the wrong understanding. That's not what this verse is talking about. They do that sometimes. I don't know why. Ecclesiasticus 12 verse 17. See, I knew that was wrong. I gotta... Okay, paste. I gotta put the whole verse in there. This verse is warning you about a false friend or a hidden enemy. When trouble comes, this person will be right there, not to truly help, but to take advantage. Even if they act supportive, their real intention is to work against you behind the scenes, and that's exactly what he's there to do. Undermine means to sabotage, weaken, to bring you down secretly. So the verse teaches that adversity reveals who is truly for you, and that's, you're gonna see he ain't for you, man. I'm trying to help you out. I'm trying to undermine you. That's what the whole chapter is about. Ecclesiasticus, the 12th chapter. Read Esther. Learn about Haman. Context, very important. This verse is part of Sirach 12, which is a chapter about being cautious with the ungodly, not trusting enemies who smile in your face, understanding that hatred can be hidden until opportunity comes. And that's, oh yeah, we want to be the first ones to support you in your division, in your divide against your own country. I just want to tell you, we support you. Whatever you need, we'll come in and help you. Earlier verses set the tone. Sirach 12 and 10, never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. In Sirach 12 and 15, there is no enemy worse than he that flattereth. And that's what he's doing. Congratulations. You should have been done this. I'm glad you finally did it. So verse 17 is the result of that warning. When hardship hits, the enemy reveals himself. And he revealed himself. It's too quick. Too quick. Soon as a day before you even, he's the first person to recognize you. Flattery. You gotta watch out for people who like to flatter, man. Let's look up this word flatter. A lot of flatterers. Flattereth is an archaic third-person singular form of the verb flatter, meaning to praise someone insincerely to gain favor. That's what a lot of people do. When you see somebody that's a flattering, that you better watch out for that. That's a damn demon, man. Always, he just does it. He does it insincerely. He's trying to infiltrate some shit. He's trying to use it to gain some type of favor, any favor. He don't care what it is. He's just an insincere piece of shit to soothe someone's ego or to make something appear better than it is. And that's what these people do, man. Flatterers. Those are demons, man. Always flattering you. Flattery ain't a good thing, man. You got a lot of people flattering you, man. That's just weak. And you gotta be weak too if you allow that to affect you. You allow flattery, people flattering you. Get the fuck out of here, man. It's commonly found in older texts like the King James Bible describing someone who pleases themselves or others with deceptive words. Yeah, they like to use. Oh, you gotta watch it, man. Deceptive. They're snakes. Always trying to infiltrate some shit, man. Damn demons, man. I can't wait for Yahweh Bashim Yahushua to do what he's gonna do, man. Like, real talk, man. Because you see this, you gotta learn how to discern shit with less information. Potentially leading to ruin, as in a man that flattereth his neighbor spreadeth a net for his feet. Proverbs 29:5. I gotta grab that. And that's ultimately what Esau is doing with those Somalians. But he already snared you anyways. He got you praying to a rock that he created. Just like he does with the Christians, he does with the Muslims. He created all of this shit. He got everyone fooled. And that's why when the Lord returns and destroys all your groves, all your temples, then that's when everyone gonna know who the Lord is. And you ain't gonna be calling him the wrong name in that time. I dare you to call the name out of his name when he destroyed this place, man. You're gonna be destroyed. You ain't even gonna have a chance to do that. You're gonna die. You already appointed, you're a reprobate. Let me see where I wanna go. Proverbs 29:5. A man that flattereth his neighbor spreadeth a net for his feet. That's a strong precept, man. Proverbs 7:5. That they may keep thee from the strange woman, from the stranger which flattereth with her words. That's going into different doctrines. Proverbs 7:21. With her much fair speech she caused him to yield. With the flattering of her lips she forced him. And that's a female's trait. Flattery. Effeminate. Proverbs 20:19. He that goeth about as a talebearer revealeth secrets. Therefore meddle not with him that flattereth with his lips. Yeah, meddle not with him that flattereth with his lips. Now this could be twofold, man. But, you know, most of these nations, they love the so-called white man, so they fall for the tricks of the devil. That's why they're in the position that they're in. Proverbs 26:24. He that hateth dissembleth with his lips, and layeth up deceit within him. When he speaketh fair, believe him not, for there are 7 abominations in his heart. That's right. Complete demon. A lying tongue hateth those that are afflicted by it, and a flattering mouth worketh ruin. It's ultimately what they want to do. They want to ruin you. And that's what Esau, that's a feminine trait. Esau's a damn bitch anyways, man. You know, he really, like, he wants to be like a woman, man. He's an estranged from the womb type of person. All Edomites are like, they have this hidden homosexual demonic gene inside of them. Both male and female, they all want to be the opposite of what they're just against nature. They're against life as a whole. They're as death, like the scriptures talk about. Habakkuk the 2nd chapter, and enlargeth their desire as hell. What's this? Second Samuel 14:17. Then thine handmaid said, the word of my Lord the king shall now be comfortable. For as an angel of God, so is my Lord king of to discern good and bad. Therefore the Lord thy God will be with thee. That's right. You got to discern between good and bad. But the house of David will have discernment, man. They're going to have discernment, man. Not everybody that know the word, and it ain't like that, man. People are fake as hell. People can see it. Because a lot of people, they don't really see. I know Amalek's being exposed. Not everyone can see him like the men of the Lord. They can see it. Because first of all, he does that with everything, man. You divide something like that, you can conquer. You can take it over. I didn't even finish I just wanted to see what else it said. 2 Samuel 14:18. Then the king answered and said unto the woman, hide not from me, I pray thee, the thing that I shall ask thee. And the woman said, let my lord the king now speak. So this is talking about when, I forgot who King David's talking to, but I think he's looking for his son. And Joab set up King David's wife to talk to him about allowing Absalom to come back or something like that. 2 Samuel 14:19. And the king said, is not the hand of Joab with thee in all this? And the woman answered and said, as thy soul liveth, my lord the king, none can turn to the right hand or to the left from aught that my lord the king have spoken for thy servant Joab. He bade me, and he put all these words in the mouth of thine handmaid. So she was trying to flatter him, and he saw through that shit. He put it together. Joab, you got something? Joab made you do all of this? The hand of Joab with thee and all this? That flattery shit for? He didn't look at it. Once he noticed, sense flattery, he knew he was dealing with deception. He recognized that spirit. That's discernment. Okay? When you operate on a certain level, you can discern things. And a lot of men, they don't have that. They don't have it. You know why? Because they're wicked. Lord didn't give them all of that. He might have gave them a certain measure, but it's just enough for them to hang themselves. And we're gonna see, and I'm glad the Lord he's working. Apostle I was gonna say all these apostates, these agents. It don't have to be that you work for the government to be an agent, man. You could just be demonic. You could be of Satan. Okay? And people who are sincere, they can see through that bullshit. There's only so far you're gonna go, man, but you're gonna get to the wrong person, man. Y'all got a short time, man. Y'all got a really short time. 2 Samuel 14:20. To fetch about this form of speech have thy servant Joab done this thing. And my Lord is wise according to the wisdom of an angel of God to know all things that are in the earth. That's right. The Lord gives you this capability to see through people's bullshit. You can see through them. Fake, soft, weak, feminine. That's what they are. Just like Amalek. Over here flattering. Oh, Somaliland, yeah, so congratulations. I'm glad you separated from your country so I can come in there and help destroy that land, destabilize it, and take over and set up a puppet government in there like I'm trying to do to Iran. Put a new bank over there or something. 2 Samuel 14:20. 2 Samuel 14:21. And the king said unto Joab, behold, now I have done this thing. Go therefore, bring the young man Absalom again. So now he want to, it was all to bring Absalom back again. And Joab fell to the ground on his face and bowed himself and thanked the king. And Joab said, today thy servant knoweth that I have found grace in thy sight, my lord, O king, in that the king hath fulfilled the request of his servant. So Joab arose and went to Geshur and brought Absalom to Jerusalem. Now, King David he loved his son. He loved Absalom. You know. So this but Absalom still got put to death. Okay, the Lord wasn't fucking with Absalom, man. Can't be coming up against the men of the Lord. Absalom didn't win. Absalom was still, he wasn't right, man. And that was his son. The Lord still protected him, and he still had to put him under his feet. He had to put Absalom, because he was an enemy. 2 Samuel 14:24, and the king said, let him turn to his own house, and let him not see my face. So Absalom returned to his own house and saw not the king's face. So he didn't even let him see his face. But he allowed him to return. So he uses wisdom. King David ain't like a lot of y'all, man. King David was very wise, man. Very wise. The Lord was dealing with him, man. And what I like about King David is that he had that humility still. You know, there's that humility and that sincerity about David. That's why the Lord was really messing with him. Because he understood his heart. Okay, this dude, he's about what he says. I can mess with him. He's somebody I want to set up on high. I can have him do a lot. And he did. Job 17:5. He that speaketh flattery to his friends, even the eyes of his children shall fail. Ooh. Lord ain't fucking with that flattering ass niggas out there, man. And the Bible is a proverb about betrayal and its consequences, meaning that those who turn on their friends for a personal gain, a share or reward, will see their own children suffer to their hopes dashed, with translations varying slightly from flattery to denouncing friends for a price/reward, illustrating that treachery brings lasting hardship, often for future generations. Ooh, so it sucks, man. Psalms 5:9, for there is no faithfulness in their mouth, their inward part is very wickedness, their throat is an open sepulchre, they flatter with their tongue. Let's look this up. They flatter with their tongue. Describes the inherent deceit and unreliability of the wicked. Inherent deceit, man. Stating their mouths are full of flattery and lies. Just like this dude, their hearts are corrupt. That's the wicked. And their throats are like open graves, emitting destruction, contrasting with the righteous path David seeks from God for protection and guidance. It's a powerful image of verbal and inner corruption, highlighting that words from the wicked are untrustworthy and harmful, a concept later echoed in the New Testament to show universal human failingness, whatever that means. Psalms 12:2, they speak vanity, everyone with his neighbor, with flattering lips and with a double heart do they speak. That's a double heart. They're double-minded, unstable in all their ways. That's the enemy speaketh sweetly with his lips. Let me grab that. But in his heart, the enemy speaketh sweetly with his lips, but in his heart, KJV. Yeah, same chapter. An enemy speaketh sweetly with his lips, but in his heart he will imagineth how to throw thee into a pit. He will weep with his eyes, but if he find opportunity, he will not be satisfied with blood. It's right, exactly. He won't be satisfied with just killing you. Nope, he wants to be you. That's what Esau likes to do. He likes to go into your land, take all your resources, kill all the men, turn them to be gay, destroy your whole nation, and then set himself up in your stead and act like he's you. That's what Ecclesiasticus, the 12th chapter, goes into, but I didn't really want to get into the whole chapter. But that's what it's going into, and that's what he's trying to do. Next thing you know, yeah, I'm king of Somaliland. He got someone dark as you, but he understands through the bloodline you are what your father is. He might look like you, but he's not. That's what you call a tear. We got a lot of tares out here. But the Lord's going to be doing the separating. 1 Thessalonians 2 verse 5, for neither at any time used we flattering words, as ye know, nor a cloak of covetousness. God is witness. Let's see what this is talking about. Let's see what this is talking about. Where the Apostle Paul assures the Thessalonian believers that his ministry among them was genuine, free from flattery, selfish motives, or greed, with God as his witness, emphasizing pure intentions in proclaiming the gospel. That's beautiful. And that's who the Lord requires us to be, to serve him. It tells you in Joshua the 24th chapter, to serve it with truth and sincerity, I believe it says. Let me grab that. Joshua 24 and 14. Now therefore fear the Lord and serve him in sincerity and in truth, and put away the gods which your fathers served on the other side of the flood, and in Egypt serve ye the Lord. So you serve him in sincerity and in truth. Pretty much with a pure heart. Let's look at this word sincerity. To mem, perfect, without blemish, without spot, upright, sound, what is complete or entirely in accord with truth and fact, neuter, adjust, subs, whatever that means. Pretty much without spot, being, having integrity, without blemish. I said you being pure. I don't see the word pure, but that's the best way I can describe it. Being upright. It's like, I didn't finish what he said.
This is actually part of the post here from Benjamin Netanyahu on Friday, saying, quote, I announced today the official recognition of the Republic of Somaliland as an independent and sovereign state. Together with Foreign Minister Sarr and the President of the Republic of Somaliland, we signed a joint and mutual declaration. This declaration is in the spirit of the Abraham Accords signed at the initiative of President Trump. I congratulated the President of Somaliland and praised his leadership and commitment to promoting stability and peace. I did invite the President to pay an official visit to Israel. So again, Israel becoming the first nation there to publicly recognize Somaliland in decades. Again, that is just part of the statement here from Netanyahu there in Israel. Now, also important to note, President Trump did do an interview with the New York Post and said in part, does anyone know what Somaliland is really? So it appears he is not ready just yet to recognize Somaliland. We will keep you updated here as we get much more.
See, man, something's going on, man. Something's going on. And just through the spirit, I don't think they really know. That's what blows my mind about these scriptures, because it's like, how much of a level are you when you know these scriptures, man? Like, are we way up there? Like, what the hell is going? It's just like you're looking down. Like, these people are slow. Like, he probably don't even know that that's Amalek. He probably don't even know he's Esau. That's how you know it's like the super elite. I mean, I'm just speaking as a man. Who am I? But I be thinking sometimes, like, these people, are they really stupid? Like, some people are slow, man. Like, the whole Nigeria thing, asking Duck for help. Like, what the hell's wrong with you? That don't make any sense. But it's like, not everyone's privy to the truth, even though it be put on a platter right in front of your face. You can't receive it. Like, people are just literally blocked from receiving it. They might throw words, oh, this dude's racist, he's this, that, and the third. That's like, there might not even be a word to describe the men of the Lord. And you're just like the Lord says, his thoughts are not your thoughts. Like, you can't even glorify him the way he's so way up there. It's hard for you in your measly mind to understand how much on the level Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahweh Shai is. You know, but the little that he's given us puts us on such a higher level than y'all. Y'all are like, y'all, I can't even, I want to make sure I get you on, you really low, man. Because you don't see, when you don't believe the prophecies, you don't get it. None of this, all of this doesn't make sense. You'll watch this and continue on with your day. This shit'll go right over your head. All types of precepts be popping in my head. I'm thinking like, huh? Of course, the fact that you're the first person there, the first person, that's what really attracted me to this video, because as soon as you want to be the first one to be like, yeah, and flatter and just be wicked, and you don't even know you're exposing yourself. And that's why the scriptures are beautiful. Scriptures are beautiful. All right, Job 9 verse 24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? Now, this is a simple precept. You would think you could pretty much close the book with, if you had the proper understanding of this. I mean, Job just put it on a platter. He basically telling you who the wicked is. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. Who covered the face of the judge? You would have to know who the judges are. The judges are the Israelites. The judges are the elect. Yahweh Shai is the judge. Okay, Yahweh Shai is through iconoclasm and other means and lies and deception, got you thinking that he looks like Esau. And why does he look like Esau? And that's when he says, if not, where and who is he? That's what he looks like. If, is it another nation making this so-called white Jesus all over the world, or is it Esau doing that? So he can exalt himself throughout the whole world? Or is it Moab selling this? Is he the one mass producing images of Caesar Borgia? Is he the one doing that? I don't think he is, man. It's clearly Esau. So that's falling upon himself. Let's see if there's any cross references. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. Job 12:6. The tabernacles of robbers prosper, and they that provoke God are secure, into whose hand God bringeth abundantly. But ask now the beasts, and they shall teach thee, and the fowls of the air, and they shall tell thee, or speak to the earth, and it shall teach thee, and the fishes of the sea shall declare unto thee. Who knoweth not in all these that the hand of the Lord have wrought this, and whose hand is the soul of every living thing, in the breath of all mankind? Okay. I don't know how that pertains to the earth is given into the hand of, well, I guess the Lord created all these things. I guess that's where it's trying to get to. Jeremiah 12:1. Righteous art thou, O Lord, when I pled with thee. Yet let me talk with thee of thy judgments. Wherefore doth the way of the wicked prosper? Wherefore are all they happy that deal very treacherously? Thou hast planted them, yea, they have taken root, they grow, yea, they bring forth fruit. Thou art near in their mouth and far from their reign. So, yes, the Lord does plant them. He planted the wicked. He put them in the position that they're in. We understand all these things, but the rest of the world, they don't get it. They don't get it, man. And it sucks to be them. Malachi 1:4 showing you who the wicked is. Whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down, and they shall call them the border of wickedness, and the people against whom the Lord have indignation forever. So the Lord has indignation, which is righteous anger, forever against Esau. Okay, and you can see it. I mean, I see it. It's just the way he conducts himself in the world. It's not righteous. It's not a good sign if he's clapping for you. If somebody's flattering you, you gotta analyze yourself, man. You really do. That's not a type of spirit that you want around you. Someone's flattering you, self-examine. Pray to the Lord, man, that he remove that demon from you, man, or expose that demon to you, give you the discernment that you need. Because once you discern something, the demon's defeated. He can't do what he wants to do with you discerning. If your discernment's up, it don't matter what that demon does. But if your discernment's down, then you can't make the proper judgment. So this is why we gotta ask the Lord when these things, when you're faced with certain things, man, certain people, ask the Lord, man. Pray, ask. But as for you heathen, you don't have any wisdom. Your God ain't telling you what to do. Does your book have something like Ecclesiasticus, the 12th chapter? I doubt it. Okay. Esau can't. This is how we know this is divinely inspired, and this is what is going to destroy this nigga. Okay. 100%. 100%. It's like, even if, brothers might not make it, you might think, okay, this dude died or whatever. That don't make the Lord's word of none effect. A lot of people died. Abraham died. You could read Hebrews 11. A lot of people died in the faith, and guess what? It's still gonna happen to you, Esau. Okay, whether we here or we gone, that's still you. This is our faith, man. And there's nothing you can do about it. That's why it's perfect. This is one thing that no one can steal away from you. If you truly have faith, can't no one take that away from you, man. I'm not going to read this whole chapter, but I'm going to read the first 5 verses. Hebrews 11:1. Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. So now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. You can't. We hope for a kingdom. We hope for salvation. We hope for Yahweh Shai to return. Okay. And you can't see it with your eyes, but through the Spirit you can see it. That's faith. Like, we don't have any paperwork showing that we're Israelites, but through the Spirit it's guaranteed 100%. Okay. And the Lord told you in John 6, in 63, I think. John 6 verse 63, it is the Spirit that quickeneth, the flesh profiteth nothing. The words that I speak unto you, they are spirit and they are life. So the Spirit is what's quickening us. The flesh, like paperwork, that's not profiting you anything. The words that I speak unto you, they are spirit and they are life. So the Spirit is what's revealing these things to us, not documentation like Esau. He can go all the way back to Genesis with his documents. Let him tell it. Yeah, you look up my bloodline. You go back to Africa. Me, I go all the way back to Israel. This is, I go all the way back. We found samples of Israelite blood on some stone in Jerusalem, and it's the same blood in me. Fuck out of here, man. And people believe that shit. Okay? But through the Spirit, no way in hell. These scriptures, the devil can trick people with fleshly things, but you can't deceive the Lord, who the Lord gave this truth to. Okay, to somebody else, yeah, you could deceive them, but someone who got the truth, they'll have faith. That's what they operating under. Y'all don't have no faith. Your faith is in your guns, your weapons, your deceptions, your false doctrines, your false gods, your falsehoods. Okay? We got hope, which is a gift, according to Ephesians, is the 2nd chapter. And that comes from the Lord too. So for you to even believe that you're Israel, that all came from the Lord. Even though he used other men to give you that gift, but through the Spirit, man, that came down from the Lord, man. For by it the elders obtained a good report. For by it the elders obtained a good report. Let me look this up. What elders? Is this talking about the apostles and elders at Great Millstone, or is this talking about somebody else? Let's see. Means that the great figures of the Old Testament, the elders, will say, which, through the reincarnation, these men could be that. Receive God's approval, not just for their actions, but because their actions stem from deep, active faith. So the elders in the Old Testament, a confident trust in unseen realities and God's promises proving their reality and substance, like Noah building the ark, or Abraham leaving for an unknown land, setting a standard for believers to trust God's unseen work. Noah didn't know, never seen water before, but yet he built an ark. Abraham leaving for an unknown land. He's told to leave his family. And that's the standard. That's a lot of faith, man. That's a lot of labor into something you don't even see coming. That you're gonna occupy a land and he's asking you to put your son on the line. Man, that's a lot. That's the standard. That's found that right there. That's crazy faith right there. For by it the elders obtain a good report. So, and you saw the Lord delivered. He delivered Abraham. He had to go in the battle for Lot. That's a different type of spirit. And Noah too. Noah had to keep that door closed, man. There's probably people, family members that he loved and all of that. And the Lord shut the door, man. But he saved his family though. And look what it stemmed from, that family being saved. Everyone that's on the earth stemmed from his sacrifice to build that ark. Hebrews 11:3. Through faith we understand that the words were framed by the word of God, so that things which are seen were not made of things which do appear. Through faith we understand that the words were framed by the word of God. The worlds were framed by the word of God. Let's look at this word, worlds. The worlds were eon, the different ages. Age, period of time. Okay. Through faith we understand that the worlds were framed by the word of God. So the worlds, the different ages were framed by the word of God. So we're in a different age right now. Okay, we're not under the Babylonians, the Assyrians, the Romans, the Greeks, the Persians, the Medes, and other nations too. But those were the major worlds that we were in. They were framed by the word of God. They had a certain measurement that you could tell because of Nebuchadnezzar's dream. He's showing you they were framed by these things were supposed to happen. So that things which are seen were not made of things which do appear. So the things that are seen were not made. So that things which are seen were not made of things that do appear, because it was made through the Spirit first, ultimately by Yahweh Shai. And he tells you that in Colossians, the 2nd chapter. Colossians 2 verse I thought it was 2. Maybe it's 2, or maybe it's 1. Yeah. Colossians 1 verse 17. It says, no, I'll start at 13. Who have delivered us from the power of darkness and have translated us into the kingdom of his dear Son, in whom we have redemption through his blood, even the forgiveness of sins, who is the image of the invisible God, the firstborn of every creature. For by him were all things created that are in heaven and that are in earth, visible and invisible, whether they be thrones, going back to those different ages, those worlds, or dominions, or principalities, or powers. All things were created by him and for him, and he is before all things, and by him all things consist. So before all things were created, he's the firstborn of every creature. That's Yahweh Shai. Let's go to this real quick. I'm only going to 5. Hebrews 11 verse 3 means that through faith we understand the universe wasn't made from visible stuff, but by God's powerful command, revealing his invisible power and wisdom, establishing creation as the first big act of faith that connects to trusting him today, showing that God created everything from nothing, ex nihilo, through his spoken word, even though we didn't see it happen. That's right. And we do believe that. And if you don't believe that, then you lack faith in something. Your faith is weak somewhere. Hebrews 11 and 4, by faith Abel offered unto God a more excellent sacrifice than Cain, by which he obtained witness that he was righteous, God testifying of his gifts, and by it he being dead yet speaketh. By faith Abel offered unto God a more excellent sacrifice than Cain, by which he obtained witness that he was righteous. I'll look this up. I know Abel had a more acceptable sacrifice. Let me see what this means. Maybe they can put it in the words better than me. Is a key verse in the Hall of Faith. Hebrews 11 and 4 means that through his trusting faith in God, Abel offered a superior sacrifice to Cain's, earning God's approval and being declared righteous. And even though dead, his faithful example continues to powerfully teach us about obedience and God's acceptance of a heart that truly seeks him. That's a beautiful way of breaking that down. I don't think I could have broke it down like that. But I love how they put the faith into his sacrifice, because, he's doing something physical by offering a sacrifice to the Lord, but him being obedient, doing it at the time, the law wasn't, but he knew with the Lord, he was being obedient. And that also shows that your sacrifice there's some form of being obedient that shows your faith. So he's showing his faith by his works, is sort of like what this precept is saying. But Cain wasn't being obedient. Nobody asked him for some fruit. So that's just a disobedient spirit. This verse highlights faith as an active trust that results in obedient action, contrasting Abel's faith-filled offering with Cain's less sincere one, setting the stage for the hall of faith in Hebrews. That's beautiful. You know, sometimes when you look things up, it can shine a light a little bit more into the mindset of making a sacrifice to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua, man. Your faith, that being obedient. He says he rather obedience rather than sacrifice. And when it says by which he obtained witness that he was righteous, you know, him accepting that sacrifice, because ultimately it's the Lord that righteousness belongeth to thee. Who said that? Isaiah. Let me grab that. Righteousness belongeth to thee. Oh yeah, it is Daniel 9:7. A phrase from the Bible, specifically Daniel 9:7, a prayer of confession by the prophet Daniel, acknowledging God's perfect justice and humanity's deserving shame due to sin, contrasting God's inherent righteousness with Israel's failure in exile. It's a powerful statement recognizing God's absolute rightness in mankind's fallen state, a core theme in biblical themes of grace and redemption. Hebrews 11:5, by faith, Enoch was translated that he should not see death, and was not found because God had translated him, for before his translation, he had this testimony that he pleased God. So Enoch was translated, meaning brought into a ship, and he should not see death. So he didn't even die. He just got beamed up. And was not found because God had translated him, for before his translation, he had this testimony that he pleased God, man. And Enoch is another symbolic. He's symbolic of the elect in these last days. They're gonna get translated that they see not death, and they're not gonna be found because they got translated. And they're going to have this testimony of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua, and that was pleasing to the Most High. That's beautiful. Hebrews 11:6. Let me look this up before I go to Hebrews. I want to go 6. I thought I said 5, but I want to go to 6. Hebrews 11:5. Hebrews 11:5 means that Enoch pleased God so much through his faith and close walk with him that God took him to heaven, preventing him from experiencing death. So we want to be that. We want that same good report with Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua. Okay. We want that testimony. And we know according to Revelation 19:10, it's the spirit of prophecy. And if you prophesy, man, that's from the Lord. All right. But he gonna test you, man. He gonna test you, and not everyone's gonna pass the test, man. Not everyone is going to pass the test. Translation, he had this testimony that he pleased God. Let me see if I finish this. Unlike others in the lineage recorded in Genesis, it highlights that faith isn't just belief, but a deep trust in living in continuous fellowship with God, resulting in a life that is pleasing to him, with Enoch's unique departure serving as a powerful example of God's reward for such faith. So there's a reward, man. Might not to a lot of people, it don't seem like there's a reward. A lot of people might not look at it as, rewarding. It don't seem glamorous. It don't seem worthy of your time. to serve the Lord. But when you get translated and everyone's getting put to death, then you're gonna know. And it's not just that, you know. It's comforting through all your every single day. You're going through something, and the Lord is, even when you go to work, that trip, it could be 10, 15 minutes. Some people take an hour, 2 hours. If you made it there, hey, the Lord, he gave you a clear path. He gave you safe passage. And then you make it back home, hey, and you got the W for the day. Hey, man, he don't get glorified enough. You know, did you eat? Did you shower? You good? You had health, you had strength, you had the mental capacity to still serve him. Come on, man. That's just a few things, man. You can just keep going and going and going. Hebrews 11:6. But without faith it is impossible to please him, for he that cometh to God must believe that he is, and that he is a rewarder of them that diligently seek him. Let's look at this word, diligently. Diligently. Because I kind of try to look at the scripture. This is like a rubric here. You can see it through the Spirit. Like, it's right in front of you. Not everyone sees it, man. Require. Seek after diligently. Seek carefully. Inquire. To demand back. Require. To seek out for oneself. That's right. I like this. To seek out for oneself. You know, I like that because it shows some personal connection that you have with Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua. It don't involve everybody. It involves, there is a aspect to it where there's a oneness, or not a oneness. Yeah, oneness, and more of a there's some, I don't know, I can't find a word, man. I'm getting tired, but there's a just you. There's a one, you and him, man. What are you doing for him? What's your relationship with Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua? That's what I'm trying to say. To seek out, investigate, scrutinize. Ooh, scrutinize. Let me look at this word, scrutinize. Examine or inspect closely and thoroughly. Yeah, you ain't just listening to people. He likes to see. You're just gonna listen and not do the work, or you're just gonna repeat somebody else. Some people are like that. They don't really like look. You know. Of course you stay single, of course you want to watch brothers' videos, but then there got to be where's your private research at? Where's your inquiring to see if these things are true? Because in your search to find out if those things are true, you find out other things too, to seek out, search for. So that's what it means to be diligent. Let's look at this word, diligent. Diligent, having or showing care and conscientiousness in one's work or duties. What's conscientiousness mean? The quality of wishing to do one's work or duty well and thoroughly. What's this? 1 Peter 1:10, of which salvation the prophets have inquired and searched diligently, who prophesied of the grace that should come unto you. Alright. I'm thinking of another precept, 2 Peter 1:10. 2 Peter 1:10. Wherefore the rather, brethren, give diligence to make your calling and election sure. For if ye do these things, ye shall never fall. Let's look this up. You gotta be diligent. 2 Peter 1:10 encourages believers to be diligent in confirming their calling and election by actively living out Christian virtues, stating that practicing these qualities will prevent them from never falling or stumbling spiritually, leading to a secure salvation and a rich welcome into God's eternal kingdom. It emphasizes growing in faith, goodness, knowledge, self-control, perseverance, godliness, mutual affection, and love, as outlined in the preceding verses. 2 Peter 1:10 means believers should actively develop godly character, faith, virtue, knowledge, self-control to confirm their salvation and avoid spiritual failure, not to earn it, but to prove it's real, ensuring an abundant entrance into God's kingdom by showing God's grace working in them. It's about making your personal assurance of God's calling and election secure through diligent, obedient living, preventing you from falling away or becoming unfruitful. Hebrews 11:6. But without faith it is impossible to please him. For he that cometh to God must believe that he is, and that he is a rewarder that diligently seek him. Let me look this up. It means that faith is absolutely essential to please God. And a lot of people don't have that. It's essential to please him, and a lot of people don't have faith, man. They got faith in a false God. That's where their hope is in, something that's going to fail them. That's why they're not diligent. They're not looking these things up. They're not searching out these scriptures to see if these things are true. They don't have that spirit. They don't got the Holy Spirit for them to actively seek these things out. It's not about blind belief, and that's what most of these people believe. It tells you in the book of Matthew's, I think the 15th chapter, it says if the blind lead the blind, both of them shall fall into a ditch. So you gotta, if you know that, if you understand that precept, that if the blind lead the blind, both of them shall fall into a ditch, you shouldn't be following anybody blindly. You know, I haven't found anything wrong with what the apostles and elders said, but I still search the things that they say if I had never heard it before. Or not just them, just anybody. I'll just look it up, see if I can get more information on it, so I can be more understanding of something, you know. But it tells you to be like that in Acts 17, so that's being diligent. Where I want to go? I think that's it. It says, I wanted to go to double check to see if Matthew 15 was that precept. Yeah, Matthew 15:14. It says, let them alone, they be blind leaders of the blind, and if the blind lead the blind, both shall fall into the ditch. So what's the point of you just gonna fall into a ditch? I'm gonna try to avoid the ditch as much as possible. There's definitely a ditch coming, so you want to make sure you fully persuaded in your own mind. Let me grab that. You know, you want to be fully persuaded in your own mind, man. Romans 14:5. One man esteemeth one day above another, another esteemeth every day alike. Let every man be fully persuaded in his own mind. That's a heavy precept, man. Especially if you're not the type to look things up, and you know, you got the Lord has an abundance of resources. Chat GPT, that's probably one of the better ones, but not even just that. I mean, you could just, I just Googled half of this lesson. Okay. So the information's out there. It's not about blind belief but a trusting, active pursuit of him, recognizing his presence and promises, even when unseen, which opens the door to his blessings and grace. That's right. His promises to the nation of Israel. And a lot of people don't, you think his promises belong to everybody. Completely adverse to the scriptures. Just know Satan's trying to deceive you. And how is he trying to deceive you? He's trying to make you go 180 to the scriptures. 180. He don't want you to have anything to do with the scriptures. Salvation is for Israel, but he'll tell you salvation is for everybody. Scriptures tell you that his feet are like fine brass, as if they burn in the oven. No, he's a so-called white man. Believe and trust and be diligent. Nope, you don't need to do any of that. You don't keep just do this and that. Just live a good life to the best of your ability, and just say you love everybody. So he's fully adverse, man. So you gotta search the scriptures for yourself. But I'm gonna end it here. Lord's will, this was edifying.